Hey y'all, my name is Angela. Very glad to have you here today. Like everyone else, I've hopped on the Wordle train despite my best efforts not to, and I've become absolutely obsessed with it. And after seeing some of my favorite creators do Wordle-based book videos, I kind of wanted to throw mine into the mix and do Wordle-based book recommendations. So let's jump into a week of Wordle-inspired books. Good morning and hello. I'm ready to start my day. I got my breakfast right here in front of me. I usually tackle my Wordle whenever I think of it, so, you know, morning, 11 o'clock at night. Let's figure out what today's word is. Oh, I have to allow screen record first. Because if I don't screen record, this won't be as much fun for y'all, right? I'm gonna do my Wordle alongside my Noosa yogurt. Fucking love Noosa. So my strategy for the past week that I've been doing it has always been to use one of the statistically or linguistically advantageous words. For example, irate. That was my go-to. But yesterday I just tried a random word and I got it in 2 tries. So, you know, maybe there is kind of a logic to the fun of the game being trying random 5-letter words and just seeing how far you get. So what am I in the mood for today? You know what? Since I see it in front of me, how about mouse for computer mouse? You know, mouse has quite a few vowels too, so maybe we'll get lucky there. Oh, ooh, okay. Not bad, not bad. Maybe humor? Oh, you guys saw that. Humor. Bless. Humor is actually a pretty good word for a book recommendation because if I stretch it, it could just be any book that I found really funny. So let me go through my list and see what books I think are funny, humorous. I stumbled across one book so far. It's more like this book aligns with my sense of humor, and it's The Willoughbys by Lois Lowry. This book is geared towards a younger audience, and this was one of my favorite books growing up. I used to listen to it constantly to, you know, just fall asleep at night. The Willoughbys mainly follows the Willoughby children, these 4 kids who hate their parents, and actually vice versa. The parents don't like the kids either. So they're both simultaneously trying to get rid of each other. And it's this very feel-good, slightly adventure journey full of wacky logic and funny comedic moments. It is kind of tongue-in-cheek, and that was one of the main reasons I love this. I consider it like a classic part of my childhood, so that's kind of something fun to pick up. So Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. This book is also a great one if you want that balance between funny situational kind of comedy plus the very emotional, heartwarming side. I really like this book and I definitely want to reread it soon. If you're into science fiction, anything by Andy Weir, so The Martian or Project Hail Mary, those 2 books were really good combinations of realistic science fiction plus a very humorous main character. He injects a lot of good personality into his main characters. Yeah, I think those are all the funny books I can think of kind of off the top of my head and looking through my Goodreads. We'll see what day 2 brings. Today was actually pretty easy, so Wordles letting me off easy on the first day. Good morning and welcome to another round of Wordle recommendations. So today, again, starting bright and early. Yesterday got very lucky with the first guess, and today I'm just not sure what kind of inspiration will hit. Right now I have a little pillow beside me, and this pillow reminds me of the back of a chair. Stretch the link there. So chair will be our first word. Ooh, bad start. Okay, so we have an A in there. Perhaps fable. Okay, the A's and O and the E's in the right spot. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, so now it's a consonant A with an E ending. Waist might fit in there, although I'm nervous on my guess. I'm not very sure because there's no consonant. Ah, damn it. Okay, so there's an S somewhere. Dang, I'm super struggling today. Oh my god. What is this word? I hope you're not all looking at me like it's so obvious. I wonder if it's a double vowel. Sow is a word. Sow and saw are words that are pretty rare. AU is probably more common than AO. Moss, it had to be like moss, which is not a word. Pause, oh my god. And it's the word. I've been at this for at least like 10-15 minutes just trying to think of what's a word that has that. Oh god, it's because I wasn't thinking of double vowel. There you have it. Today's word is pause, and I'll be giving some recommendations for pause. Maybe we could use this for recommendations for characters stuck somewhere, paused in a location, in time, in their life. Maybe something along the lines of like, yeah, you know what, that works, that totally works. Okay, right off the top of my head, One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston is a great pick for a character stuck in time. This is a sapphic romance about the main character who meets this girl that's stuck in a subway from a different time. Another book that I personally liked but wouldn't necessarily give as a recommendation per se is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Tessa Moshfegh. It's a book about a person who, after experiencing a lot of different things in their life, has decided that they want to essentially hibernate and sleep for an entire year. It's a book that covers a lot of iffy topics and not necessarily the best pick if you're not in a good headspace, so hence why I hesitate to recommend it. But I did enjoy listening to it on audiobook. If you want to check out the trigger warnings in my document in the description, if that book sounds interesting to you, please do that before checking it out. Oh, there's another obvious one. This will be my final one. Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. It follows this man who unexpectedly dies, and then he's taken to this way station in between death and the afterlife, and there he experiences this very real pause where he has to kind of consider his life and how he lived it and learn kind of a few lessons along the way. This one's a very contemplative but also heartwarming kind of story. All right, let's hope tomorrow's Wordle doesn't scar me as much as today's. Good morning, friends. Another very early start to my day, and I want to be starting off with Wordle, of course. Now let me get you set up. ASMR angle. So today's word, I'm feeling a little bit out of it, so I'm gonna start with tired. Represents my mood. Okay, we got an R, and the E is in the right place, but there's no D. I think I'm gonna try ropes, because even if it's not the correct word, at least it'll show me if R is the first letter. Okay, so R is not the first letter. Forgot to occur to me that could end in ER, so that's another test. Or flyer. I just thought of that. Flyer seems like a much more common word compared to the gluer that I was about to use. You saw it here, folks. Should I try gluer? I'm gonna go with my first guess, which was gluer. Okay, in a shocking turn of events, the U is the first letter. Oh god. I love the moments when I can figure out that a light bulb just hit. It's an ulcer, isn't it? It's an ulcer. It's ulcer. Now talk about intense. That word was, I was not expecting that word. Okay, but now we're on to the trickier part, which is to find a book recommendation based on ulcer? Do I even know what an ulcer is? Is that thing that's in your mouth? No, it's not. It's a sore that develops on the lining of the esophagus, stomach, or small intestines. I just thought of a recommendation for this. Okay. Okay, weird as it sounds. Okay, hear me out. When I have a weird word like this, like ulcer, I just have to go with the train of thought, right? So I'm thinking ulcer, I'm thinking sores, I'm thinking pus, I'm thinking gross, I'm thinking body horror, I'm thinking the horror genre. For today's recommendation, I'm thinking that I do body horror in the horror genre kind of in general. And the light bulb moment came when I remembered The Troop by Nick Cutter. Now, I haven't fully finished this book. I'm in the middle of reading it right now. It's a book set on this remote island in Canada where this guy has this stomach parasite that just makes you extremely hungry, and on the island is this scoutmaster and this group of scouts, like little boys, who have to kind of escape and survive this parasite that's spreading very quickly. So that's my first recommendation. Two recommendations come to mind, and they're not really gory, but they do have to do with horror in terms of like a physical body kind of sense. So one that comes to mind is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. It's about the school of girls that are on this remote island, and there's this disease that is spreading across the island that only really affects adults. So the girls have been kind of quarantined inside, and it follows this group of friends. One of the girls goes missing, and the other two are like trying their hardest to find her again. Oh, I don't talk about this book a lot. Follow Me to Ground by Sue Rainsford. This is a book about this daughter and father duo that live on the kind of outskirts of this village. They're healers for the village, but they're also not really part of the village itself. They're very much outsiders and treated as such. And then one day the daughter starts a relationship with one of the guys in the village, in the town, and things start to get weird from there. I also think a lot about Junji Ito when I think about body gore or body horror. His short story collections like Shiver and Smash have often very good body gore horror. So I think those are a good list of recommendations, and a little bit off of today's word, ulcer of all things. Today was not kind to me, but I'm excited to try again tomorrow. Alrighty, we're doing today's Wordle. It's not going well. What's a random 5-letter word I can use today?
Aloof.
Aloof?
Challenge? Do aloof.
Oh, but it's double vowels. So maybe start with bones. Oh! I have none of the letters.
You, I have no greens. That is the hard part.
That is.
And I just used 5 guesses so far.
I can't use arise. I can't use later. Can't use a do.
I feel like I'm losing my mind with this Wordle right now.
I mean, you must have eliminated at least like half of the letters, right? Okay, my guess is that if it's that hard, it must be a double letter thing. But I don't want to try double letters yet because I haven't eliminated enough. Okay, I'm gonna try this word. Oh, okay, I'm getting somewhere.
Not in wordless. Not in wordless.
Did you figure it out?
It's a word that I see all the time in my games, especially the most recent one. I wasted five guesses on nothing.
In your games? Oh. Whoa, that was hard. I had to think for a long time on that one. Love that. Okay, well, I guess the word of the day is ultra. So I have to think of some book recommendations for ultra. Ultra is an extremist. Very extremely. Okay, I know what to do. Maybe I should recommend books that are extremely divided. Have very divided opinions among people who read them. And I can already think of one. I read a book called The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and it's considered a modern classic. It's set in this New England school, and it follows this group who are studying the classics, and they get into their texts and kind of what they're doing, and a lot of weird stuff happens. I can't spoil it because I'm recommending it right now. So my personal opinion of the book was that I hated it. This book, I think it's the gold standard for dark academia. This book kind of sucked. It was because all the characters, I didn't like any of the characters, but a lot of people who love dark academia love this book. And so I'm gonna recommend it because some people have loved it. And yeah, some people have hated it. Okay, here's another one. This was my favorite romance of 2021. Favorite. And it's called The X-Talk by Rachel and Solomon. And the only reason I put it there is even though it has a decently high rating, I think, on Goodreads, it was a lot of booktubers' least favorite books. It made it onto their least favorite books list. I don't know why, but some people said that it's because the characters are annoying and like the book is kind of try hard, which maybe it is. Yeah, I think I would recommend The X-Talk as another book that is controversial and has extreme opinions. I think I'll just leave this as is. We'll do 2 book recommendations and then we'll do Wordle tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yay.
That was fun.
All right. Hi friends, so I've gotten a few days behind, but it's Tuesday now and I have Monday's Wordle recorded, so I kind of wanted to go through it with y'all, kind of like walk you through my thought process, if you will. So we're starting off here nice and easy. I had been playing a lot of the Wordle archive just a few minutes before this, so I really was kind of out of, quirky random 5-letter words, so I just went with think. Now, think might not have been the best word. I did miss out on quite a few vowels there, so only N was the right consonant. I was thinking, any random word, and I went with scorn. Scorn, a little better. I got C and N, and here I thought I had a light bulb moment and tried to do nickel before I realized that nickel had 6 letters. So this next guess was purely a product of me trying the random letters and words and combinations and ending up with a word that I've never heard of, Klein. So I love getting the first letter correct because obviously that makes it a lot easier to think of words or at least know where to start. Except I was sitting here, I kept on thinking of like cinephile, cinema, things like that because I saw the C-I-N. I decided that I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna see if I can place the I in the word at least, and I try Cupid, and I end up getting the I correct. So at this point, a little worried, only 2 more spots left. Then I think of the double letters. So I spot the C. I'm trying to fit in any leftover vowel types. There's a Y. And then I finally get to Cynic. 2 books are kind of coming to mind right now. They don't necessarily have the most cynical of characters, but they do feature main characters who have kind of lost hope or lost faith in people in general. They have a very pessimistic outlook on life, on their relationships. So the first one I have to recommend is Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. This book follows our main character Jane, who recently moved to New York City. Her sister June also lives in New York City, but they're kind of on bad terms. Well, not bad terms, but they've never gotten along. They're a little bit estranged, and they've definitely had their differences, but all that kind of has to get put aside when June gets a diagnosis for uterine cancer, which dramatically affects both of their lives. Jane is definitely a character that I had a lot of mixed feelings for when I first met her in the beginning of the book. It's one of my favorite things that I've read from Mary H.K. Choi, so I would highly recommend it. The next recommendation is an author that I really like, and it's Mona Awad. She writes these characters that are usually pretty cynical, pessimistic. They ride that line. So I'm thinking Bunny by Mona Awad or 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl. And those 2 books both have main characters that have a very like me against the world kind of mentality. With each of the main characters, you get this very intimate look into their thoughts, almost in like a kind of monologue style. And I think if you enjoy one of her books, you'll definitely enjoy the others if you're looking for that kind of very cynical main character. So I would definitely recommend Mona Awad for the word cynic for today's Wordle. And because it's Tuesday, we have another Wordle to solve. How about plant for my lovely plants that are half dying? Okay, so we have an A. So I think my next strategy is going to be to just eliminate some of the vowels here, and I'm going to try do, which is my go-to. Okay, great. So I have A in the first letter at least, which makes it a little bit easier to eliminate. I might have to just kind of BS some of these letters here. Okay, great. So a row. Aroma, yay, aroma. Okay, aroma makes me think of smells, cooking, food. So today for aroma, I think I want to do some food/cooking based book recommendations. One that I read pretty recently that I haven't talked about on this channel yet is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. This is a cozy mystery about a woman who moves back to her small town to help out with her aunt's restaurant, and there's a food critic there that has kind of been targeting her aunt's restaurant, and one day after she's served him this dessert that she's created, he suddenly dies. And the police have her as their number one suspect, but she knows she didn't do it, even though she and the food critic have some bad history. So she's trying to go around and solve the mystery to clear both her name and her aunt's restaurant name. This book, though it's focused on the cozy mystery, has so much good Filipino food included, and just the descriptions of it will make your mouth absolutely water. I was so hungry listening to this the entire time. It was an absolutely delicious book to listen to. Another one that I recommend is A Pho Love Story by Lone Lei. This is a YA romance book about two competing pho shops that are right across the street from each other. It's like Romeo Juliet-esque. Both of the kids of the restaurants go to the same high school. They know of each other. They used to be really good friends, but something happened between the two families that have turned them into business enemies, family enemies. And these two, not only do they have this like undeniable attraction to each other, they also are trying to hide it from their families. So if any of those kind of tropes appeal to you, with really good descriptions of Vietnamese food and like restaurant culture, I would definitely recommend this book as well. I actually wanted to do a recommendation on food-based books or books about cooking or restaurants or anything like that. So if you're interested in that, please let me know in the comments down below. And until then, we'll see you for day 6 of Wordle. Good morning and welcome to day 6 of Wordle book recommendations. We're almost at the end of the 7 days, which is super exciting, and I've been playing a ton from the Wordle archive in the past few days, so I almost feel like a little bit Wordled out. I think I'm gonna start with cream. I'm gonna try candy. Okay, so CA, not bad, not bad. Okay, calves, it wasn't my best guess. Okay. Well, I guess I want to deploy one of my strategies of just elimination. Towel. Okay, so now I know where the L is. So it's a cow sound. Oh. Could I have been going in the wrong direction the whole time? Is it caulk? Oh my god. Well, let's just say that I don't think I would have ever guessed that word from the get-go without all these eliminations. Okay, so I know in the past few days we've made a lot of logical leaps, but today's probably going to be the biggest leap we have to make yet. So just stay with me here. Okay, so we have caulk, right? Which is a sealant. And when I think sealant, you seal the deal, as in the thing on top that wraps up the whole thing, as in the last book of the series that really wrapped up the entire series and sealed the deal for me on the series as a whole. Is that a big leap? Yes, it is. Do I have anything else that's more creative? No. So today I'm going to recommend book series where the final book is really what kind of sold the series to me. It's what made me love the series as a whole and made it really memorable to me. Immediately, 2 romance series come to mind. The first being the Kiss Quotient series by Helen Huang. This series is really special to me. The first book, The Kiss Quotient, is one of my favorite romances of all time, and the final book in the series, The Heart Principle, is my favorite installment in the series. It's the most emotional, the most nuanced. It covers a lot of different topics like family and romance, and a lot of different cultural family aspects that made it a really impactful book to read. So I'd highly recommend all these books: The Kiss Quotient, The Bride Test, and The Heart Principle. In a similar vein, I also really loved the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. This is a series following 3 sisters, each with their own romance. You also don't have to read these in the order that they are written in. My favorite book in the series was Act Your Age, Eve Brown, the final book. This book had my favorite buildup of tension between the characters. It had that slight like enemies to lovers. The chemistry between the characters was like fireworks. Once you had that one spark, the rest of it was just an absolute explosion. It was so fantastic. And the first book in the series is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and the second one is Take a Hint, Danny Brown. All three of these books have some of the best chemistry that I've seen in romance books just in general, and they're also really steamy. So if you're looking for something in that genre, I would highly recommend this series. Those are the recommendations for today. Tomorrow's the last day. A little sad about that, but stay tuned to see what other word Wordle's gonna throw at us tomorrow. Hey y'all, we made it to the final day of Wordle book recommendations, day 7. I almost got spoiled for today's word while scrolling through TikTok, so that was mildly terrifying, but we're here and we're ready to figure out the last word. In honor of this round going well, I'm gonna use great. Okay, an E and an A. And how about place? Okay. Maybe shave. Ooh, okay. It's either shade, shake, shame. So this is the hard part with this word. I have 3 chances. I'm gonna go for the word mound, even though I know it's not correct, just so that I can eliminate M or D or not. Okay, I've eliminated M and D. So I think I'm more confident now to say it's shake. Yay! Okay, so we have shake, past tense shook. How about books that were thrillers, suspense, horror, that had a twist or ending that had me shook? The first book that comes to mind is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This book is about a woman who murders her husband and then never speaks another word. And we follow the psychotherapist who's taken this very almost obsessive interest in this woman's life and why she's not speaking. So he purposely kind of follows her to her hospital so that he can become her therapist and figure out what's going on inside her mind. This book had a twist that at the time I refused to admit that I didn't see coming, but then, you know, after I thought about it, I had to be real with myself and had to say, you know what, I really did not ever see that coming. I was definitely just like this is the direction we're going in, and I think that's kind of the reason why this book is so popular. It does have a very interesting twist, and the story is just so compelling and gripping throughout the entire thing. Another book that just absolutely left me in shock was The Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones. This book follows a group of friends. They decide to pull this elaborate prank where they dress up a mannequin, put them in a movie theater just to trick one of their other friends, but then the mannequin gets up and walks out of the theater. This book's twist was slow, it built up, and it got me. It definitely got me in the end. I was halfway through and suddenly everything clicked, and I was just sat there like, dang, I feel stupid for not seeing this coming. But it was very slow and subtle the way that the twist was kind of revealed. And I think the last book I'm going to recommend is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This book follows in the point of view of our narrator, who switches to the body of a different character in the same repeated day to try to figure out who murdered Evelyn Hardcastle. When you start the book, you'll be confused. You get a quarter of the way through, you'll probably still be confused. The intricacy and the mystery of this book's entire timeline was just so well crafted, and the final reveal at the end was just satisfying in that you see it happen, honestly. Like, you go through this entire journey and you just want to know. Journey of getting there was the best part of this book. And that wraps up a week of Wordle-based book recommendations. This was so fun. I love doing Wordle every day and thinking of book recommendations to fit the theme, even if some days were a stretch, I have to admit. I definitely had to stretch some of those themes to match the word, but I had a lot of fun, and I hope you had fun too and found some books that you might be interested in. If you want to see more book content from me and be friends in other places on the internet, I have my Instagram, Goodreads, and Storygraph linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.